I'm just here to talk about the redesign on the false goblin. So we have redesigned it, made it look a little bit better, imagery wise, but everything else has stayed the same. So if you see the new image in the posts, you're welcome to use it. So each one is pretty much followed by the image, so you're able to copy, screenshot it. If you have any recommendations of where I should post the stuff, let me know. This is the new false goblin redesign. I went into the lore last video, so we're gonna move on to the false ogre. I hope you enjoy this episode. Okay, so we had to edit the false ogre a little bit. So if you actually saw post, you'll notice that it looked a little bit different, but we had to edit it, and some of the stuff was messed up about it. We'll just leave it at that. The false ogre is an unstable being. This creature cannot stay in reality for very long without warping the area around it. When these things appear, they usually appear when false goblins are around. The goblins warp the area enough to where it leaves an opening. These ogres go through this narrow crack and cause chaos. They'll start warping the areas around them, causing more holes to open, leading to more goblins, other beings to start flooding out. The false ogre is a very, very powerful creature. It will start growing and growing until, well, it starts devastating the area around it. You'll start noticing it, but the question is, how long will it take for you to notice that? People will go missing, and you'll feel echoes. The false ogre, unlike the goblins, will not bring any of its victims back to where it comes from. It will devour them so it can continue growing. Though it's not simply flesh and blood, it is a warp of non existence. So I think it's an interesting creature. They can travel into packs of three, two, and sometimes five. You can do what you want with this. You could have 100 of them if you really want to, but I think they're a little interesting creature. Next thing we have going on is the false warg, but I'm kind of doing voiceover so that you guys can see this without having to quickly go over it. YouTube Shorts can be a hard thing to do. I think my favorite creature out of all of these creatures has to be the false warg. So I know these are very goblin themed, but uh, it's just because that's what I was thinking about at the time. So they're obviously a little bit changing. So if you have any ideas of what you want next falsified, let me know. Back to the false warg. The false warg will pretend to be a normal warg. The image might not seem like that, but they transform. They will pretend to be injured or pretend to be a lonely warg for adventurers or even hunters to try to kill it. Once they get close, it will transform. It will elongate its feet, will make it grow into where it's 35 feet in the air. Its main body, while its legs are on the ground. Its head will also grow. No, it will grow a second larger head that's able to bite separately from this warg. So the secondary maw is its own entity. It just doesn't have the HP. So once the main body dies, so does the secondary head. The warg itself can also obviously reach down and bite people, but the secondary maw is the more powerful maw out of all of them. These creatures are very cunning. As you can tell, they have wisdom of sorts, though they're not very intelligent, being that since they elongate their feet, if you do some chopping motions against its legs, they will tumble. But I think it's a very surprising thing to use uh, on your party members. Imagine if they were expecting to fight a normal warg and get jumped by this abomination. The image does not do it justice, but I'm not the best at making images and or finding them. To be honest, this one kind of sucks, but I didn't make it, so it's whatever. I hope you enjoy. The false goblin was made by Kit. The other two images were found or made. I will work on the art for them, but I hope you enjoy the video. Good luck. So this is the Black of the Blame. I just want to give some more details. So the false goblin was drawn by someone named Kit, a friend I met on Discord. So just giving them credit to what art they made. The other two arts are made by some random people or their AI. I'm not too sure. I didn't make them exactly. I found them on Google. Um, I just wanted to give a look to the creatures to make them pop a little bit more. Uh, obviously they themselves could have just not been on there, but I have a feeling a lot of people would like just a little image to have an idea of what they would look like. Um, I if you have some art they'd like to replace with this, let me know. I cannot afford commissions or anything. I am still a broke boy like most people. So I just wanted to give people some ideas for the false things because a lot of times you can't use that false hydra because everyone knows about it nowadays. So I want people to be able to use these newer things, and I like the idea of the false hydra. Um, as well as you might think that I didn't put too much detail in explaining the things like I did with the false goblin. That was the first time like read a script. I didn't like the idea of reading a script. It was only for a YouTube short, which I don't know how to do YouTube shorts. I talk for a very long time, so I decided that I'm not going to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you guys can use these in your campaigns. If you can't, then you can't. But yeah, see you guys around. If you have any ideas, let me know. And if you want me to post something like post these somewhere else, for example, like Reddit or something, let me know and I'll figure it out.